they used to cut the corn before the combine with the binder. They pulled the horses and then eventually pulled with a tractor. And they'd stitch up all the wheat, and you'd get people coming in. You might be getting through young boys from South Moulton, about 17, 18, because the rabbits would come out the corn, see, and they'd love that, see, and dogs, you know, catching them, yeah.
Brilliant.
Entertainment.
Well, entertainment and supper.
Yeah, because the rabbit was on the menu then, big time.
Years ago, you put up ricks of corn, hay and same. You had to put thatch on top of them, keep them dry for the winter. Till you come in with a thrasher.
Yeah, I've seen old pictures of that, people working up on the top of them. And they had like a big pole that you'd use as a winch, didn't they?
Oh, a hay pole, yeah, for making hay. A horse would pull the, one man pull the grab of hay up onto the, of course sometimes we just pitch it up. But you know, you was used to working, manual working.
It was labour intensive when you had to stuck up the sheaves. It would be labour intensive if you worked on the binder, the machine that went through the field and gradually turned growing wheat into bound up wheat. And then we'd follow it behind and pick them up and put them up in 8s or 6s, depending on whether it was barley or wheat, and then leave them to dry. And then later on, the corn was carried, and it was carried in great big lorries, open lorries, and there was a special way that you loaded it up. If you started just chucking sheaves of corn on a lorry, it would all fall off, wouldn't it? So you had to make certain it was put in properly, and you built up a load, as they say. Most people have no idea that that's what used to happen. And then I would get a telephone call. Brian, can you give us Anne this morning? Yes. And you'd have to go out in the fields, and every sheaf of corn, you had to put your thumbs in like that and turn it inside out so that it could dry off after it had been raining. And sometimes you do that day after day.
Hey, harvesting, yeah, you get the neighbours and all that, yeah. They'd work for nothing, long as they could have some cider or something. Yeah, it was happy, yeah.
I've got some cine film, you know, of old-fashioned farming. We were using a machine which was 100 years old then. It was called a comer. My father and I used to work it. He would pitch sheaves of corn up to me. I'd be on the machine, cut the binder cord, push the sheaves into the machine, and it used to comb out the reed and get shot of all the kernels, the little bits of grain. And coming out of this machine were several chutes. One would be wheat coming out of it, wheat. Another one would be dock seeds, because it was able to differentiate between different seeds by size, basically. And then there would be bits and pieces of corn which just came out and were baled up. And then the whole machine was called a comer because you wanted to comb the reed, which was about this long, so that you could use it in thatching. Niches and sheaves, yes, it was a niche of combed straw for thatching purposes. And that was a marvellous job. We used to spend hours and hours doing that. And I was just fascinated by the whole thing.
Tell me about this building, because when you first came here, this is very different. What happened in here?
Well, this was what they called old thrashing barn. They used to come in here with a thrashing machine and do the reed combing and stuff.
There would be a thrasher back in the corner, yeah. They always put the barn north and south because of the wind to blow the dust away when there was thrashing, yeah.
I never saw it working in here, but that's what used to bring it in for this doorway. They used to open up the doors and it should blow the dust out. All this is open right up then, you say, quite high.
There was a roundhouse out there because they used to have the horses to go around with the bar in order to work the thrasher because the engines come in later, but you know what I mean, yeah.